Well, hello, everybody. Happy Monday and welcome to the show. Here we are once again, episode 425. Wow, how did that happen? 8 years been doing the show, and I keep meeting more amazing people in our community. And thanks to all of you who have been supporting and watching the show for that length of time. It's kind of a nice Christmas present to be here 8 years later. At times, never sure where it was going to go. But we got there, and again, it's thanks to all of you. Hope you're getting out and enjoying yourself over this festive season, right? I know I'll say it a little differently. I'll say Merry Christmas to you. I'll say Happy Holidays to you. And I say I wish you all the very best over this festive season. Do you make New Year's resolutions? I think I did a long time ago just because all my friends did. But none of us, I think, kept the resolutions. I never actually quit smoking when I said I was going to until I just decided to, right? It was never a good New Year's resolution. But I guess it is a time to reflect, right? So I hope you'll take some time to sit back and reflect, enjoy time with family, friends, and loved ones over the holiday season. And it's okay to set some goals. You can set them anytime, but if you're going to make a New Year's resolution, just keep it, will you? All right. I'm going to cut through some of the regular stuff here. Just going to kind of get right to the point because I want to have some festive fun as well. We talk about the holiday season. There's some extra things to look out for because there's a lot of distractions going on. And our friends Mike Otis and Roel Bus from Sarnia Fire and Rescue, better known famously as Otis and the Bus, as you'll see. We're going to talk to them right now. Take a look. All right, well, fire safety is something to be looked at all year long, but 'tis the season where we should be extra cautious with fire safety. And our friends Roel Bus and Mike Otis, better known famously as Otis and the Bus. Thanks for being here, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, and happy holidays to you. And I'm sure at this time of year, like we say, there's just a little extra fire safety that we need to open our eyes to, right?
Yeah, people are really preoccupied this time of year, and statistically, it is the highest day for fires is actually Christmas, Thanksgiving, and New Year's Day.
Yeah, and I know that unattended cooking is one of the largest causes of fires, right? So with all the extra cooking that's going on around the holidays, that's probably a big concern.
Yes, it is. It's partly because you're cooking more. It's partly because you have people over. You're entertaining. So it's very important to make sure you stay in the kitchen while things are cooking.
Yeah, I'm sure it's easily distracted, right? You know, we start having conversations, and you know, how's the kids, and how's this and that, and then I forgot that thing's boiling over there.
Yeah, and it's not even just fires. People, there's more people on the roads. Parking lots are full, so you're going to see more accidents. You're going to see more fires. And it isn't. You said one of the top causes. It is in fact the number one cause of house fires is unattended cooking. Oh wow.
Well, I'm not going to lie. I've been guilty of that, and there's a reason why I'm not allowed to cook in the house at all anymore. But so it was scary. I'll be honest. I was boiling eggs, and then I went away and forgot and got busy, and I came back and it wasn't a very good experience. And then ever since then, I've heard you guys on CHOK radio talking about that. I kind of hang my head in shame a little, but
yeah, it's easy enough to do, but a smoke alarm should not be a dinner bell or a kitchen timer.
Yeah, right. Well, let's talk about smoke alarms. I think I know you guys talk a lot about changing the battery when daylight savings time changes every year. And I think that's, we hear that little beep, beep, beep. And then do we tend to just take that battery out and stop that annoyance? And then we kind of forget to replace that battery sometimes.
Yeah, that's something we never want to see. You want to have a working smoke alarm and CO alarms at all times. In fact, it is law. So even just taking the battery out and not replacing it is against the law.
Yeah.
These devices save lives, remember, so it's very important.
Right. So if you came to my house and found this smoke alarm over here with no battery in it, you could find me.
Yes.
Yeah. And what's that worth?
$360.
Oh, well, okay. It's probably cheaper to put in a $5 battery.
And that's per alarm.
That's per unit.
Per unit.
Yes.
Guess what I'll be doing after this interview? Be checking all my smoke alarms, right?
And then that's just for a homeowner. A corporation can be fined up to $100,000 for not providing that life-saving equipment.
Wow. Yeah, cheaper to put the batteries in. What about landlords and stuff? I've heard conversations before about or the debate on, well, my landlord was responsible for that. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm the one living there, so really I should just be doing that anyway. But is there a debate over that, or who's responsible?
Well, there's actually there is some debate over it, but that's even written in the law as well. So the landlord's responsible to install it, and they're responsible to provide the batteries. And all. So a tenant doesn't have to buy anything or do anything. The only thing they do have to do is call their landlord if there's a problem with it. So if the alarm is beeping for no apparent reason, give the landlord a call, and they'll either replace it or put a new battery in it, or something like that. But you do have to call, because the fine for not calling your landlord is actually as big as not installing one in the first place.
So both sides are kind of responsible then.
Yeah, that's right.
100%.
Right.
Yeah. Well, like I say, at the end of the day, I'm the one putting my head down on the pillow. So if I can't get a hold of the landlord, go buy a battery.
Yep.
Problem solved, right?
And like Roel says, it's really defined in the law. Once that landlord's installed that smoke alarm and the batteries, everything necessary, and it's working and it's not expired, etc. Once they've done their job, that liability transfers over to the renter. Because if they take out the battery or disable it in any way, they're the ones getting the fine at this point.
Right. Let's just go buy some batteries, folks, and maybe a good Christmas gift: a pack of batteries for smoke alarms.
Or new smoke alarms, CO alarms.
Yeah. Well, CO alarms. There, I got it right. And I know you guys hear that told wrongly so often, but every day. Yeah. So. Let's tell people and let's educate them a little bit on exactly what a CO alarm is and what its purpose is.
Okay, so CO stands for carbon monoxide. Carbon monoxide is the product of incomplete combustion. So it happens kind of at the beginning of combustion a little bit, and then it dissipates away. But if there's a problem with an appliance, a fuel-fired appliance, it could produce carbon monoxide when it's not supposed to. Carbon monoxide is a poisonous gas. You can't smell it, you can't see it, you don't know it's in the air. The only way to detect it is with a detector, with an alarm. The other way is to get sick. It actually produces kind of flu-like symptoms without the fever.
Okay.
So that's what that is. The other major producer of carbon monoxide is car exhaust. So if you have an attached garage, you definitely have to have one as well, and just be smart about not idling the car inside the garage, and it will bring the carbon monoxide levels up very, very quickly and very high.
Yeah, and I suppose in the wintertime too, if we have those remote starters for our cars, we might tend to start the car up and maybe think, oh, maybe I should open that garage door first, right?
Take it outside too, yeah.
In fact, don't even warm it up. Even with the garage door open, do not warm your car up in the garage. Start your car, pull it out, let it warm up outside. Yeah. See, it's funny. I don't have an attached garage, but I guess it's one of those things maybe we don't think about often enough. Yeah, we had a case of that in the last couple of weeks where it got really bad when someone had it in the garage.
Yeah, wow. Now, in the house, is there, pardon me, where's it best to locate the CO alarm? Just anywhere? Plug it in?
It needs to be near the bedrooms.
Okay.
So again, that's so of all the tips that we have these 12 tips of holiday safety. There's the two, I think it's day 2 and 3, the carbon monoxide and smoke alarms. They're the law. So carbon monoxide alarm is a law as well. It needs to be where you sleep, so outside the sleeping areas. We want it to wake you up. If there's carbon monoxide in your home, to a dangerous level. Like there's not supposed to be any.
Right.
If there's it kind of it's kind of like perfume. It mixes with air, so
Right.
it's gonna reach that alarm, and they alarm at a fairly low level. Like by the time you know, like the higher the level, the quicker the danger.
Okay. Is there a place to not put it, like my laundry room or boiler room? That is there a place you put it where it's not really going to be effective?
Well, like Roel said, you want it to wake yourself up. The two of the biggest misconceptions we see in the public is, one, they put it by their furnace, because people always seem to only think of their furnace as a source of CO, which a lot of houses have 6 or more possible sources of carbon monoxide. So you don't want it by your furnace. You want it by where you sleep. So that's one of the biggest misconceptions. The other one, people will argue whether it has to be high or low. But as Roel was just saying, it mixes evenly with air. So you can have a plug-in one that, is in your hallway that's kind of low to the ground. Or you can have a combination smoke CO that's on the ceiling. Either way, it'll work for a CO.
Okay. So the one that I have here in my laundry room next to my furnace is probably not the best place to have it.
It's not. By law, you need it by where you sleep. That's where you're most vulnerable.
Okay. All right. By law. That's all you got to say. It's the law. I'm there. So
Right.
there's I'm writing this stuff down because there's a couple things I need to do after I'm done talking to you guys, right? So don't come over right away and knock on my door.
Roel's going to beat you there, and he'll be waiting.
As long as it's a warning, I'm okay with that. So the 12 days of holiday fire and safety, you guys have been doing this promotion on our local radio station, CHOK Radio, and you're on day number 9 right now, I believe.
Yep.
Right.
So that's keep matches and lighters out of the sight and reach of children.
Yep.
It's pretty. I've been reading through some of this stuff, and it's really just common sense, you would think.
You would think.
Well, a lot of it is common sense. It is something that that aspect of it you don't really think about, right? When you're looking through lights and cords, you just want to, okay, where am I going to hang them, and is it going to stretch far enough, and that kind of thing. It's just a really good practice to also look for like frayed cords, or make sure that they're all still in good shape. And and
electrical cords is a big one too, because we're plugging in more lights now, and I think we tend to buy those little thin ones that we can plug 3 things into, and then we'll put another adapter on that sucker right there, and we'll plug 12 more things into it. There's not a good idea.
No, not a good idea. You don't want to overload your circuits. And
in fact, Roel and I just watched a video out of England yesterday where all the lights, Christmas lights from normal stores, like reputable retailers, all passed, but a bunch of the online ones, about 60%, failed fire safety tests, where they would overheat, start smoldering, and could easily cause a fire. So you don't want to buy, just look for the cheapest thing online. That same goes with smoke and CO alarms. People have bought cheap ones offline, and they're not even certified. They're not even, you're relying on that to save your life. You don't want to rely on something that's not certified.
Yeah. And that's that has to. So, what kind of stamp of approval is that called?
There's CSA, ULC, UL is ULC in Canada. Is the ones that certify them. There's ULC standards that they have to abide by. So if they have that stamped on it, that means that they are through that, like are certified.
Right. Well, and again, keeping the matches and lighters out of the sight and reach of children. I mean, at Christmas time, we are lighting a lot of candles, and we're doing that, sort of thing. And we probably just maybe set it down, forget it, and walk again. Distraction, right? With a lot that's happening over the holidays. And this is, we could go through the whole list here, but we don't have that much time. But space heaters too. That's another one. Especially this time of year, again, we're kind of plugging those things in. And I see a lot of different ways to really need to be careful there. First of all, you're plugging it in, so it probably needs to be not too close to things.
Yep.
And they suck a lot of power, right?
Yep, very much so, yeah.
So they need a heavy-duty cable on them.
2 of the biggest things with space heaters, you just mentioned, we want at least 1 meter 2/3 feet of space around it from any combustibles. But 2, you have to plug them directly into an outlet. You never use an extension cord with a space heater.
Right. Oh, so plug the extension cord in and then the heater. No, bad idea.
No. They're
Even
not
if
ready.
they got a big heavy duty one?
Well, I mean, that's a tough call. Like, that's kind of what they're for, like the heavy duty ones. But I mean, if you don't have one and you still want that space heater, a little bit away from the outlet, you're gonna grab the one that's handy, and
Right.
and if it's not rated for it, it will warm up and
So just do what Mike said. Just don't do it.
right.
Yeah,
That's right.
and we've actually, like you said, you're learning some stuff from talking to us. We've actually had this with a similar situation with the space heaters, where they did have an extension cord, and they, after listening to us on CHOK, they felt theirs, and it was actually starting to melt. It was that close to a fire.
Wow. That's really scary. And you probably don't want to cover up cords. We tend to want to cover up cords with carpet and stuff too, don't we?
Yeah, you never want to do that.
No,
Yeah.
because you're gonna walk on it. It's gonna fray, and then like there's 2 wires inside, and if those 2 wires touch, you get a short, and that creates could create an arc, and it could start a fire pretty quickly.
In fact, extension cords are meant for temporary use.
Right.
In general, they're not meant for permanent use.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And you talk about fire, like it just happens like that too, right? Like it's just like there's no time really. Like if the fire started, I mean, I suppose it depends. Like, what's the first thing you do? Do you try to put this out yourself if you've got a little cooking fire? Do you grab the fire extinguisher, or do you just get out? Or how do you make that call when you're in front of a fire in your home?
Your number one priority is to get out safely. We don't want anybody putting themselves in danger. I mean, if you're right then and there, like you should be when you're cooking, you could put a lid on, like a little small grease fire or whatever. You put a proper fitting lid on it, it's going to go out. You never put water on a grease fire. And but your main priority is to get everyone out safely and call 911 if there's a problem.
Yeah. Is that common? Like, talk about the grease fire. I think we see fire, we just automatically think water.
Yeah, it's a problem.
Right.
So it's a very bad reaction when you throw water on a grease fire.
Yeah.
So
That's a great video to Google for people. If there's lots of them out there on YouTube, throwing even a very tiny cup of water on a grease fire is going to create a huge fireball. It's basic physics. Water expands 1,700 times when it turns to steam.
Wow.
And it's the grease that's on fire. And grease tends to go on top of water, right? So when you put water on a grease fire, that burning grease wants to go on top of the water at the same time that it's expanding 1,700 times. Wow. And it really does create a much bigger fireball than you anticipate.
Yeah, I show it in all my presentations. That video always gets a reaction. Because in my video, they put a 1/4 cup of water, like this much water on a grease fire, and the reaction's unbelievable.
Yeah, I've heard you talk about that before on the radio, and I just, well, I mean, you guys are there's a reason why you guys went to school for what you do, right? You're the ones, but there's really a lot of things that we just, as individuals, really need to pay attention, I guess, and just slow down and think a little bit. Is this a good idea when I'm doing this thing or plugging this in, or even to loose clothing when we're cooking over the stove, kind of thing? Yeah.
And back to the candles real quick, just like cooking, never leave them unattended. Blow out before you go out, meaning if you're leaving that room, blow them out. Never get them anywhere near a Christmas tree. In fact, you could watch some great videos on Sarnia Fire Rescue's Facebook and Twitter on how fast a Christmas tree can go up in flames.
Wow.
It's unbelievable.
Well, I'd be happy to watch the video because I just don't want to see it happen in my home, right? So, guys, sorry, go ahead.
You were saying how fast fire spreads. We generally say a fire can double every 30 seconds. So if this desk is on fire, 30 seconds later, half this room's on fire. It happens fast.
Yeah. Well, let's practice fire safety, and we'll post the 12 days of holiday safety on our Facebook page as well. And thank you both for being here. It's been a while. It's nice to have you back.
Thanks,
Yeah,
Dave.
great. Thanks for having
Thanks for
me.
helping us get out the fire safety messaging.
Yeah, anytime. And enjoy the holidays, guys. And if I don't run
holidays,
into you, I'll see you next year.
Yeah. Happy holidays. Happy New Year.
holidays.
Sarnia Fire Rescue joining us here today. And remember to check out our Facebook page and check out their Facebook page for more fire safety tips.
Thanks, Dave.
Mike, Otis and Roel Bus, once again from Sarnia Fire Rescue, joining us here today. Thanks for your time, gentlemen, and thanks for your service in our community. Some great fire tips there, folks. I hope you were paying attention to that. You can also check them out on their Facebook page, very active there, and they're active on Twitter as well. We'll post those links after the show today. And you can even give them a call if you've got some questions about fire safety, or maybe you've got a question about a fire safety bylaw. They will definitely respond to your calls. Thanks again, guys. Enjoy the season. Criminals are active at the holiday season. They don't take vacation either. And to give us some, crime prevention tips, we're going to go take a look right now at this interview with our friend Officer Sottosanti from the Sarnia Police Service. Well, continuing on through the holiday season, there's lots to be aware of. And, crime prevention, honestly, is I think if you're out doing some shopping, and guess who else is out there doing some shopping? And joining us from Sarnia Police Service, Officer Sottosanti. Thanks for being here.
Good morning.
'Tis the season, right? But for a different meaning when it comes to Sarnia Police Service.
Well, unfortunately, our job is to deal with a lot of the criminal aspect of it. I wish it was always good stuff, but sometimes we have to deal with the problem that there are thieves out there. There are people in need. There are other people that need the money for other nefarious reasons. And unfortunately, the way to do it is through frauds and thefts. We have this campaign out there, the Lock It or Lose It campaign. We're also reminding people in regards to home safety, how to protect your house, how to lock things down, maybe not advertise that you do have something that people may want to steal, things like that.
Right. So like after Christmas, don't put the big empty box that my new 60-inch television out for grabs.
Well, exactly. They may not be able to steal your 60-inch TV, but say if you have computers, laptops, other like cameras, things like that, take the boxes, cut them up, turn them inside out, tie them together. Don't be advertising on your front lawn that, I just got a new Apple iPad or anything like that. Unfortunately, sometimes people do take advantage. We're not saying that this is going to happen to everyone, because obviously it won't. But the point of the matter is it does happen, and you want to be precautious. Even on social media, don't be advertising all the gifts you've gotten, because people do troll through social media, and they may come across something.
Yeah. Well, and speaking of, trolling social media and being able to I guess that's a tool for the criminal as well, right? You talk about telephone scams for a moment. I know that's been a problem ongoing. Is that something that happens at a higher rate during the holiday season as well?
This year seems to be a very continuous flow of it. The big one seems to be the social insurance, where just recently I was reading a call where someone got a call saying, we just found your social insurance card on a drug dealer who was arrested for cocaine. We need to confirm that this is actually your card. We need you to give us your social insurance number. And unfortunately, some people do give the social insurance number, and that opens up a whole new door where they can start writing their own credit cards and other reasons or other means of getting money. Sorry.
I guess it's a criminal mind being creative on different things.
Yeah.
I've had the CRA call, I don't know how many times.
That will be coming up. That's the new year thing. As we get closer to tax season, that seems to ramp up. But, and unfortunately, a lot of these crimes that happen outside of, the criminals are actually outside of Canada. So it makes it much more difficult for us. So we depend on, like say the RCMP and other agencies to do the international investigating that they do.
I guess one of the tips on that, like for me, when I get the call, like I know if I owe the government or not. I mean, let's be honest. I know how much money's in my bank account. I know how much money's in my, like, if you owe money to somebody. So if you have to kind of go, do I owe that bill somewhere? That's really, there's a lot of logic behind just hang up, because at the end of the day, if it really is the government, they'll find you.
That's right. And you have to be careful. Don't call back the number they give you. They'll tell you, call us back at this number. Well, yeah, because they've set that number up. And unfortunately, with all the technology out there nowadays, they can mimic a phone number to make it look like it is from the CRA out of Ottawa or wherever they may tell you. So you research the phone number. You find that phone number via your means. Like you'll receive documentation and all kinds of stuff, and there should be something on there, and contact them through that. Even wait a day and call them. Trust me, the government won't take money through Bitcoin. They won't take money through Apple cards. They won't take money through any other means other than cash. So when they're telling you to pay in other means other than straight cash, then you know that there's something going on for sure.
Yeah. One of the things those are great tips for sure. And I guess just being aware and one of the reasons we're having you here is to help us be aware of these things. One of the things I've noticed about the Sarnia Police Service for quite some time now, a few years, is getting more involved in the community. There seems to be more connection with the community. Recently you had the Cram the Cruiser event at Lambton Mall, which obviously went very, very well. And you've been doing that a few times. How many years has that been?
I believe around 7 now.
Yeah.
6 or 7 years. We've had that, Cops for Cans, Cop Shop. Our officers are playing having different activities with different agencies like the high schools and Huron Boys Home and things like that. And the big thing there is we are the community. We are part of this community. We're not exclusive. We live in this community, and it makes great sense to be out there and doing stuff so people know who we are. Don't just think that we're these guys that go out there and all we do is arrest people. We play sports. We do our own things. We have kids. We have families, and it's just the right thing to do.
I guess, for lack of cops are people too.
Yes. There may be moments like everybody else, but we are people too.
Yeah. And it really, creating that relationship with the community, I would think, it creates a relationship, a positive one, especially in younger people. I think, sometimes, maybe the uniform is intimidating at times, and, you want to be able to create that open door policy between, the officers, and the community.
Well, yeah, and that's the whole intent. That we're not these guys dressed in black going around and frightening people. You walk into a store sometimes in your uniform, and the child's acting up, and the mom all of a sudden says, "If you don't calm down, he's going to take you away." That kind of
No.
That hurts a little bit. Yeah, it hurts a little bit. It hurts a little bit. It really does.
Does that really happen?
Oh yeah, yeah. So we have to sit there and we'll talk to them, and and they are afraid because they hear this. And I'm sure the parents aren't doing it with any malintent. They're just trying to get their child to calm down. But we don't want to look like the boogeyman, right? So, just keep that in mind. We have feelings too. So,
yeah. Well, and honestly, I can tell you, I remember a long time ago, my father getting a speeding ticket when I was a young boy, and the officer came up and gave him the ticket, and I was upset. I'm like, is he going to take you to jail? And, so there's that, I guess maybe there's that image to overcome, right?
Well, yeah, and unfortunately, we're not always there for positive reasons, right? Yeah. A crime's been committed, someone's been hurt, a death has happened, so we're always associated with a lot of negative things. So we try, and it helps us too, right? We don't want to be thinking about all the bad. We want to do some good stuff out there that people can smile and say, yeah, that officer was there for a good reason, not just because I got a speeding ticket or whatever the case may be.
One of the good reasons is that you're out patrolling parking lots right now. Is that how the Lock It or Lose It program?
Right. Lock It or Lose It is a program that was instituted by the Ontario Chiefs of Police. It's a program across the province, and what we're doing is we're going through parking lots and making sure reminding people through these little sheets of paper we leave on their windows that, hey, good job. You locked your door. There's nothing in sight that would tempt somebody to break a window or open your car and go through it. Good job. Or you left your door unlocked. People have been, stating, you're invading our privacy, you're breaking a charter by touching our car, all this stuff like that. That's not our intention. We're in the parking lot when this is happening, so it's not like they're magically dumped on your window and we're advertising, here, come and steal.
Right.
That's the perception that some people have. The whole idea is just to remind you. And if we're in the parking lot, the chances are that thieves aren't in there. And it also reminds you after hours. We get a lot of calls where people have after a night, a whole neighborhood's ransacked. Their cars are left unlocked. People leave their cars unlocked. They go through change and stuff like that.
Okay.
So just lock your cars. It will save you a lot of headache. And they say, oh, they'll smash the windows. Well, yeah, if you leave a computer in your back seat, that's going to tempt somebody maybe to want to smash your window and take that computer. You're right. But, if you don't give them bait, they may not take it.
Well, and it doesn't take long. From personal experience, myself and my wife had an issue, and fortunately they were startled away, so nothing bad happened. But it's not a nice feeling to know that you've been robbed or could have been robbed, and it only takes a second for them to just check the door, right?
No, absolutely. It's bad enough that they go through your car. I imagine how they feel when they go through somebody's house too. So that's why we always remind people, you should be able to leave your door unlocked, your windows open, and not worry. That's the ideal society. Unfortunately, we do not live.
It's not a reality.
No. So that's why we tell people to do certain things. We remind people always about, say you want to keep an open environment around your house so you can see around your house. So keep your trees cut up to 7 feet. Keep your bushes down to 3 feet. That way people can't sneak around and get to your house and things like that easily.
Yeah. Well, and you talk about window shopping, I guess, and dreaming about the things we'd like to get for Christmas. I guess that's kind of what the thieves are doing too, is window shopping through the cars. And it happens very, very quickly. I think the other thing that we should talk about too this time of year is impaired driving, and as of recent, it really seems to becoming more of a problem for the Sarnia Police Service.
Well, we've had an increased number of impaireds as of September, because our stats person has to go back and keep checking. But as of September, we have approximately 51 charges of impaired driving or over 80 driving. Wow. While at the same time last year, we were only 29. So that's a pretty big jump for a city like Sarnia. Now, one thing we're finding too is that people are calling them in more frequently. They're making a big difference by calling them in. And they say, oh, I can't pick up the phone when I'm driving. Well, something like that is an issue of safety and concern, and we want you to call. Even if you have to stop, if you don't feel comfortable driving, you can stop, pull over, and tell us, okay, person went down this street, he's driving this car or she's driving this car. If you can get a license plate, we can track from there. Yeah. And the laws have been geared now to make sure that we, even more so, to get these impaired drivers off the road. Yeah. They can harm themselves, they can harm property, or they can harm whoever else is on the road. And that could be children that are walking on the sidewalk, could be a bicyclist, could be another driver.
But don't play cop yourself, right? Like, don't chase after them. Don't try to be the hero. Just, let the officers do their job.
Yeah, no pursuits, no boxing in, nothing like that. Well, we honestly try our best to get to them as soon as possible, and we've been pretty successful. The other concern we've been having too is that we find that the readings have been quite high. It's not just a mere fact of you're over 80, you're well over 80, like 3 times. We've had 4 or 5 times over the legal limit, points where people should be in an alcohol-induced coma. So that's concerning in itself. Yeah. So I don't have an answer. I just know that that's a fact, and our breath techs have been communicating that back to me to put out to the public. Right. So yeah, you know what? Get a taxi, get an Uber, get a friend, whatever. Find someone sober to drive you. A $30, $40 taxi ride is a lot cheaper than going to court, losing your license, having to pay more insurance. They say that the average cost is about $26,000 by the time you go through your charge right to the very end. And I don't know many people that have $26,000 lying around. So
right, not me. Yeah, even if it was $100 taxi, that would be worth it, right? And especially with Uber nowadays. I just pick this up, boom, done.
Yeah,
right.
Apparently, I've never used Uber myself, but apparently you can get some pretty good deals sometimes.
Yeah, so, I use it often, so I can vouch for the fact that it's reasonable and safe and all that stuff. Talking about impaired driving, but can we talk a little bit about distracted driving or texting? You talk about if you see an impaired driver, you can call and report that. I got to tell you, it really irritates me that people are still texting and driving. And as a driver, I see it maybe even more than you do because I'm not the marked car, right? Yeah. Can we report that kind of stuff as well?
You can try. It's a little bit hard. It's harder to get that those people charged because with an impaired driver, the effects are there right from the moment you see them, even to the time an hour or so later. So you can try, especially if you see a person that's repeatedly doing it. You can always report that, even through Crime Stoppers. Maybe I don't know how effective that might be, but or our traffic branch, you can call up and ask to speak to our traffic sergeant and say, hey, there's this person that's constantly on their phone. I see them driving all the time, and we can make the efforts to try and locate that person and see, if we can. We do try and obviously keep track of these people throughout the day with our officers, but we also do special targeted programs where we are going after distracted driving. So distracted driving is specific to a cell phone or iPad or anything that handheld communication device. It's not charges for eating while you're driving or combing while you're driving, even though that's silly. It's specific to that. And you can tell because people are looking down at their laps when they're driving or if they stopped at a stoplight.
Or there's a bright light next to their head. Yeah. So you know what? If you can't, there's no reason why you can't wait to pull over and make that call. It's pretty rare that you don't have to. If it's an emergency where you have to call the police or do something in that nature or an ambulance, I understand. But there's no other acceptable reason for it. And we just ask the public, please be safe, and it will make a big difference in the end for society. Yeah. And that takes a lot of manpower as well. I guess we kind of have to be smart at our end too, as the ones calling you. For example, 911, and you and I know some of the same people, so I know that 911 sometimes gets used when it really should just be 344-8861.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. We'll get calls in from sometimes on 911 for people saying, hey, my power is out. Why is my power out? Well, that's not a reason for using 911.
Yeah.
If you've got an issue that's life or death, where someone is breaking into your house or someone's been seriously injured or whatever the case may be, what we ask of you is that you call 911. But if you come home and your house has been broken into, I know it's severe, and I would be just as angry as anybody else. But we ask that you call 344-8861 extension 0 number. That way, it doesn't tie up those lines. We only have so many 911 lines and so many operators, so we don't want to tangle them up at all.
Right. And speaking of man hours, I hear that you're kind of going to get into recruit mode and are always looking for some new officers to join the team.
Well, recently we've gotten approval to hire 4 additional officers on top of complement that we had. So we're looking for those people. But we are also going through a huge retirement phase right now. We're getting a lot of retirees coming up over the next five years or so. So anyone interested in law enforcement should truly consider looking. At us, obviously, I'm going to be biased. We'll look at us, but I think it's going to happen across the province. And, research what you need to do, in regards to your education, in regards to your volunteer work, in regards to your fitness, things like that. Be prepared. And that's what we're looking for right now is people that are prepared, that are community orientated, that have something to bring to the job. That's what makes a difference. That's what gives us diversity within our ranks. We're looking for diversity. We're looking for all kinds of people to represent the population of Sarnia. So please consider that and put your application in if you think this is the job for you.
That's great. Well, thanks to you for being here today. And honestly, thanks to everyone on the Sarnia Police Services team for your service to our community. I think you should be recognized more for what you do in a day. So, and thanks for just sharing all those great tips to, prevent. I guess prevention is really the big thing. And very grateful for your service. So thanks so much.
Appreciate that. And have a very Merry Christmas in the next couple of days here.
Yeah. All the best to you too, sir.
Take care.
Officer Sottosanti of the Sarnia Police Service joining us here. Thanks again for joining us today, and enjoy the holiday season. And maybe you're that new recruit that they're looking for. You can find out more simply by going to sarniapolice.com or go to their Facebook page as well, simply Sarnia Police Service. Thanks again, Officer Sottosanti. Enjoy the holiday season. We're going out into the community side of things now. Our friend Bill Yurchuk from Lambton Elderly Outreach, who provides lots of services in our community aside from transportation. We're going to take a look at that interview right now. sometimes services, we take for granted services in our community. Maybe not take for granted. We just don't need them until we need them, kind of thing. And transportation would be one of those things when we get, when we get up in the years, when we get elderly. And Lambton Elderly Outreach provides some of that service. And joining us today, Executive Director Bill Yurchuk. Thanks for being here, Bill.
Thanks for having me, David.
Yeah, no problem. And I noticed this logo for Leo, accredited with exemplary standing. That's got to make you feel pretty good.
Very good, actually. It's been a long road for that. We literally just found out on Friday that we received exemplary status, and it's probably a process that we've been going through for probably over 3 years.
Oh, wow.
And we originally received the primer status, which is kind of phase one, and then the full accreditation is the second one, to which exemplary status is the highest mark you could get in that. And they base it on standards, and we actually were able to achieve 98% of our standards. So, and we're working on the 2%, of course. So we're very, very proud of that.
So So who gives you this accreditation?
It's through an organization called Accreditation Canada, and they are responsible for doing the accreditation for healthcare. So Blue Water Health, for example, went through the same process. Now theirs would be different because they have more healthcare than we do as far as acute care, but they would go through the same standards as we would, and they actually used Accreditation Canada also. There are other organizations that do this accreditation, but we wanted to use Accreditation Canada since they did the work with all healthcare. So we wanted to be consistent in standards, and they too are exemplary standing.
Well, congratulations on that. Congratulations also, I guess, coming up next year, Leo's going to be celebrating its 50th year.
Yes, 50th anniversary. So you'll start to see a new 50th logo that we're going to use, just for kind of market it and celebrate the milestone.
Yeah. Let's go back. We don't have to go back over 50 years, but let's go back to how Leo got started. And obviously there was some kind of need in the community.
Yeah. And I think it started with Meals on Wheels, but I'm not exactly sure of that, but back in 1970, and then they were incorporated in 1980 and then continued to grow from there. So it originally started as a community support agency and has remained that throughout. And then through the years, we attributed other services such as home support, like personal care and so forth, which also has been very long-standing for us.
Wow. And so the transportation, this obviously is only for certain members of the community.
Yeah, our client base is adults 60 and over and those with disabilities. So we are quite liberal with the definition of disability. Even someone having they broke their leg skiing or something, a short time disability, or certainly long-standing, and again, adults with over 60. So we also do financial means tests for clients to provide subsidy in some programs. But of course, if they're, if they have good income and perhaps a pension and so forth, then we're happy to provide the service. But we try to limit the subsidy for, those who really need that.
Right. Well, fair is fair, right? And if you've got the bucks, it's okay to pay for it.
Yeah.
One of the things I see the vehicles around a lot because you guys are located out Wyoming, right?
Yes, Reese's Corners.
Right. Now, it's quite a fleet you have going.
Yeah, I think we have probably 18 or 19 vehicles which are actually in transportation, and then we have 3 vehicles that are in our home maintenance department, and we have another vehicle that we use for our handyman service, which is a part of the home maintenance, and we're actually getting that retrofitted to include seats because it'll hold more people. It'll hold probably 13 or so. So we'd have a small bus.
Now the drivers that are looking after the transportation. Oh, it is the season for colds.
Yeah.
The drivers for providing the transportation, they must have to have some special training to go along with their job.
They are. All our drivers have F licenses. They don't require that, but because we want to ensure that they're properly trained, they all have that license. And, we ensure that their police checks and their driver's abstracts are kept up to date and clean. And we also provide driver training, as often as we can. In fact, I just had a meeting yesterday that we're going to roll out a whole driver training process from someone who's certified on defensive driving. So in the past, we've had the OPP come and help us with some training and so forth. So that's an ongoing training. especially when it comes to the straps, like Q straints they're called, which attach the wheelchairs to the van, inside the van. We want to make sure that that's all done properly.
Yeah. And that's important. I mean, there's special care that's going along with the people that you're transporting around. Are there, what area do you cover? Is it Lambton County, or like how far do you provide the service to?
Yeah, we cover all of Lambton County, and in fact, our transportation, we kind of have a rule that we have a 160-kilometer radius from the office in Wyoming, which excludes the U.S. Of course, we don't travel there.
Right.
But if people, we're in London every day, quite literally. We're at least 6 days a week, sometimes 7 days a week in London,
Wow.
bringing people to cancer treatment or just medical appointments or dialysis. So we're going almost 1 million kilometers or sometimes over every year.
Well, that means maintenance is required on these vehicles quite often, I would think.
Yes, for sure, and they're maintained always. We keep a CVOR, which is Certified Vehicle Operators Registration, and that's only required for vehicles who seat over 9 passengers. But I've maintained our CVOR for all of our vehicles, and what that does is that gives us a ministry inspection every 6 months, and I really want to make sure that our vehicles are strong and safe. So I've maintained that CVOR.
Right. Is transportation the only thing that Leo provides, or are there other services in?
Lots of others. Yeah, personal support is probably our second largest provider, and that's PSW going in to provide personal care, light housekeeping. It may help them with the activities of daily living. Our PSWs also provide respite care, so our caregivers who love their loved ones so strongly and almost to a fault. And what I mean by that is their health sometimes starts to deteriorate. So we ensure that we can go in and provide respite care so the caregiver can get a break. And we're actually identifying January as Caregiver Appreciation Month, and we're going to be able to provide respite free of charge for the month of January. So,
oh wow,
yeah, we're going to try to start to promote that a little bit, and just to ensure that the caregivers really know that we have their backs, and they too need to take care of themselves.
Well, and just some relief from time to time, just to relieve the stress relief, I would think too.
Yeah, absolutely. And then on top of that, we provide Meals on Wheels, which are they're frozen meals across the county, or hot meals in some communities, because wherever we have hot meal providers. And we provide frozen Meals on Wheels, like I said, in the county, and the Red Cross provides it in the city. So we work really strongly with the Red Cross and collaborating to ensure everyone's getting their meals appropriately. And this year, the United Way provides funding for us, so that brand new, starting last April, we can also provide a subsidy for Meals on Wheels. So that just ensures our seniors and adults with disabilities have the opportunity to purchase nutritious meals, which of course helps with their wellness and ultimately their health.
Well, yeah, and I think the fact that you said healthy meals is an important factor, because I think as we get older, we probably get a little lazier.
Yes.
And honestly, too, the way we eat today to the way we ate 50 years ago, a lot's changed. So there's some habits in there that probably need to be looked after as well.
Absolutely, yeah. Cutting out the processed food and basically trying to stay outside, around the outside of the grocery store, if you will. And
yeah,
as you know, I've underwent a journey myself recently, so I could go on for hours with regards to healthy food.
Yeah, well, you and I still need to have that conversation, but
sure.
I think it's fantastic that you've had these successes and you're coming into 50 years. And was there something about a program for PSWs as well?
Yeah, we have a program that it's nicknamed Grow Your Own PSW. And essentially what it is through SE Health, they're a health provider that offers a certified PSW course. So when somebody comes out of the course, they're full certified as a PSW. And we are paying the tuition for them to attend that. And because a lot of times, the PSWs are young, and a lot of times they have young families, and they can't afford to go back to Lambton College for a year or 2 years, whatever it takes. So we're able to put them through this course, and we provide the funding for the tuition. And in fact, they can work for us during the time they're in school, so they can actually earn an income while they're there. And then at the end, they come out as a full-fledged PSW, to which we could utilize. So we actually just had class graduate a week ago, I think Friday, and that's the first class I went through. There's currently a class going on in Leamington. We're organizing another in Amherstburg, and in fact, in February 10th, I believe, don't quote me on the date, we're having one in Chatham, and then very shortly we're going to bring it back to the Sarnia area. And so they've asked me to lead that initiative. So we're looking for candidates who may want to go to the Chatham school, and then, like I say, soon to come would be the Petrolia school. So PSWs is a shortage, in our organization as well as across the province, quite frankly. So we're just trying to do what we can to offer someone a meaningful career and help our seniors and adults with disabilities along the way.
I was going to say, with that many classes going on, it really speaks to the need out there. And like you said, there's people with young families, or maybe somebody coming into a second career or career change. It can be hardening on the wallet.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely it is. And people have so many, opportunities to be compassionate and provide care. And, if someone going into a second career, or, perhaps they raised their children and now they want to get back into the workforce, this might be a perfect opportunity. So they could just reach out to me through the office, and, we could start, set them up if, do interviews and so forth for, again, the Chatham, and then soon to come in the Petrolia or the Sarnia. Yeah. The reason I say Petrolia is because Lambton Meadowview offered space to us to have the class in Petrolia, but it's actually kind of, a Sarnia-based class when that happens. Right.
Well, to do all this sort of stuff, you need some soup. That's what you need.
Yeah, I know. Sorry about the coughing.
No, that's okay.
You can't sit through the phone, though.
No, that's right. Now, with all of this that you're providing, it takes money. It takes lots of money. And I know you mentioned the United Way in there as one of your supporters. Yes. Do you get government support, or is this all self-sustaining, or how does that work?
We do receive government support from the Erie St. Clair LIN, so that's a local health integration network, and they provide significant funding for us. And then we also have client fees. So many of our services do have a fee attached to them, and we do our very best to keep those very low, and that's where the subsidies come into play. So with regards to the LIN funding and the United Way funding, and then client fees, and then donations and fundraising efforts, which we have a couple going on now, that's where our funding comes from.
Well, let's talk about that, because I think it's exciting. You got a Ford F-150 truck draw.
Yes.
You take the truck or $30,000 cash.
That's right.
So when did this started? Just recently?
Right. Yeah. This is a new initiative that we're doing, kind of in celebration of the 50th anniversary, if you will. And I wanted to get the tickets out as soon as I could, so that people can have them for Christmas ideas. And the truck is going to be very similar to that picture shown. They're actually building the truck at Ron Clark Motors. They're providing the vehicle for us. And so we'll be able to have the vehicle on display, in locations where we'll try to sell tickets. But I really wanted to get them out on time for Christmas. So they're $100 each, and we're only printing 1,000 tickets. So, chances to win are pretty good. And they'll be sold, between now and the end of August, or when we sell out, as a draw date of September 1st, 2020.
Yeah. What a great idea. And I don't know, truck or the cash. I might need to pay off some of those Christmas bills.
Yeah, I know. Unfortunately, I won't be buying a ticket. I don't think that optics of that would be good.
But no, probably not.
We've partnered up with the Kidney Foundation and also the MS Society. So a lot of us in Lambton County belong to a cycling club, if you will, that raises money for the MS ride, which is in July. And so part of the proceeds will be going through that initiative, and then the Kidney Foundation. This cold's catching up to me. The Kidney Foundation is a part of it, because the gentleman at Ron Clark Motors that's helping us put the truck together is part of that organization. So it's kind of a dynamic trio, if you will, and to raise money for some good causes in the community.
Positive collaboration always has good results, right? So
yes,
I think it's great to be able to, and honestly, it helps with resources as well, and everybody can reach out to their network, and it should be no problem selling 1,000 tickets, I would think.
No, I hope not. Yeah, I'll look forward to your e-transfer for your ticket anytime soon.
Oh boy, look at how he did that, folks, live. All right. No, it really is cool. And do I have to tell my wife, because she might want the truck, or she'd probably want the cash? I don't know.
Or you can get her to buy the ticket for Christmas. That's why we got them out early.
Oh, maybe that's what I'll do. All right. Yeah. And so how do people get the tickets? They give you a call, or
yeah, they can contact the office. They can come into the office. They can so they can e-transfer if they wish to do that. Or we also have an online portal that we're doing through Eventbrite. And you could do it that way. So on our Facebook page, I've of course plastered this fundraiser there. So on the Facebook page, you'd be able to see the Eventbrite link, or literally, just reach out to me through social media, and I can either send you the link or details for e-transfer. And then as kind of we get through the Christmas season, we're going to try to get them for sale in other areas. Ron Clark Motors, for example, will be selling them for us, and we'll try to get other locations as well. We're just kind of had a bit of a rush just to try to get it out before Christmas.
Yeah, no, well, good timing to get it out there for sure. People like to spend money at Christmas. So, and who wouldn't want a nice new truck? And you could sell the truck, sell it back to Ron Clark Motors. I don't know.
Today's like the 23rd, so you still have. We could be a last minute Christmas Eve gift that
that's right.
Giving us a call tomorrow. I'll make sure that you get a ticket on time.
Sounds good. Well, Bill Yurchuk, thank you so much for your time, and congratulations on the accreditation and coming into 15 years and all the great things that you and your team are doing at Lambton Elderly Outreach.
Thank you, David. I appreciate for all you do in the community as well. Your age-friendly presence has been very strong and well recognized. Good work for you too. Thanks
very much. And Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, however you celebrate it. And probably see you next year.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right. Thanks, care. David. Bill Yurchuk from Lambton Elderly Outreach will be posting things on our links on our Facebook page to get you all that information. Bill Yurchuk, thanks again for being here today, sir, and take care of that cold, man. Have some hot soup. You don't want to be getting sick over the festive season, right? And thanks to Lambton Elderly Outreach for all that they provide here in our community of Lambton County. And congratulations again on celebrating 50 years, or getting ready to celebrate 50 years. And if you want to support them, they're giving away a Ford truck or $30,000 in cash. As Bill said, there'll only be 1,000 tickets sold, and they're only $100 a piece. What would you do with 30,000? Well, I'd pay off all the Christmas present credit card. Anyway, great way to support Lambton Elderly Outreach, along with the MS Society and the Kidney Foundation. We'll post the links on our page so you can get a hold of them and get your tickets. Thanks again, Bill. We'll see you in the new year. Well, just before we go, thanks everybody so much for watching for 8 years. We'll be back. I guess there'll be one more show before the new year, but I got to tell you, I sit back and reflect a lot this time of year. I think as many of us do, and I'm grateful for a lot of things that I've been able to do. And I hope you take the time to slow down and it's supposed to be a relaxing time, not a stressful time of year. Don't make it stressful. Enjoy your time with family and friends. And let's remember that there are some folks in our community that are perhaps a little less fortunate than we are at this time of year. And if you can give. At least be grateful for what it is that you do have. And go ahead and make a New Year's resolution if you want. But let's just remember the greatness that we have here in this community. I believe in the greatness in this community. I hope you do as well. And I hope you enjoy watching the show as much as I enjoy bringing it and producing it to you every week. That's all the time I got for you this week. Have a great week and an even better holiday season. I'll see you next time right here on the show. Bye for now.